The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
WFO Radio is back. That's right. It's Indy week. The Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals, the biggest drag race on the planet, the most cars, the most categories, the most drivers, the most everything, the longest. All going on this weekend. Press conference is happening as we speak. We're going to connect with the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhardt. We're going to connect with the defending race winner and reigning and three-time Funny Car World Champion Ron Capps. Is all happening on this show, guys. It's all happening on this show, and we're going to have ourselves a good time. Just get you hyped, as I am, for the biggest go, the Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals. And I want to know who's going, and I want to know who's going to be there, and I want to know like what you're excited about. It's a hype show. Hopefully, you're traveling in, you're listening to the audio podcast, you're just kind of listening into the guests, thinking about what might have been. I have been doing some research and thinking a little bit about what we're about to witness, because once it gets started, it's just nonstop chaos. I'm actually traveling in Thursday morning, bright and early, going to head right to the racetrack. And then later that evening, head over to the Cruz Pedregon Open House. That's right, the Cruz Pedregon Open House autograph session. If you're in the area, you can definitely head on over there. I know that the folks from Head Incorporated have planned a celebration of life for Dylan Cromwell right before that. So there's a lot going on in Indianapolis area on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is race day. If you're out there in Indianapolis, if you've got fans, if you're thinking, what are we going to do on Labor Day? This is what you want to do. You want to go out to the big go and be a part of the show. It's going to be great. Now, before Capps joins the show and before Reinhardt gets in, because he just finished the press conference, you probably saw TSR tweeting out some things. Hagan and Leah were out at Rick's Boatyard. Oh, yeah, that's where the press conference happened. Funny for Reinhardt, right? Like he must have set that up because that's like his hangout anyway. Just talking about the big event. This is it. Is it as big as the Daytona 500? Is it as big as the Indy 500, the Grand Prix of Monaco, the 24-hour of Le Mans, the Super Bowl, the World Series? The answer is it's bigger in ways because you have more different competitors than any of those other races. You have so many competitors. And I don't want to discount or discredit the person who's trying to win super gas like Bo Butner did last year. You win Indy, it changes your first name to U.S. Nationals winner, ... You can ask Shirley Muldowney. You can ask Connie Coletta. You can ask Snake. How about Capps in the Snake scheme? We're going to talk to him about that. But first, I want to get to the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. I do this show every week. We put out multiple shows. Antron, Angel. That was amazing. That was amazing. Their first interview was right here on WFO, which is why we ask you to subscribe. Think of all the greatness that lies ahead because of the folks at FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. These guys make it possible for us to do this show. And we are super excited that FTI Performance, top sportsman, top dragster pro mod, .90, big money bracket racing, but also your street car. If you put together one of these twin turbo 3,000 horsepower, go to get ice cream style cars, you need a reliable transmission. And that's what FTI Performance is all about. Thanks to FTI. It's a Paul Lee company. Good luck to you guys in the big race. Foggett. This is Gary Stinnett and Steve Williams partnering together to help Lucas Oil Series racers or racers of all kind. For instance, even people who are not racers, like gunsmiths, are using the product known as Foggett. And someday soon, I hope to be using a product like Foggett as well to protect the inside of my racing engine. At the end of the night, you've been racing all day, you're done. You go to put it away. It's cool, maybe even cold. Condensation begins inside your trailer and inside your cylinder walls. And that causes microscopic corrosion and rust, which not only damages but changes the inside of your cylinder walls. So use a product like Foggit to fog it down and protect it, and you don't have to worry about it. Go to foggit.com, Foggit, to find out more information and get in on their contingency program and the Lucas Oil series. Folks at Phillips Connect, Justin Ashley, what a season he has had. But to win Indy would change the game. To win Indy would make it ginormous. And that's why Phillips-Connect is on board with WFO Radio. We appreciate them. Trucks, trailers, if you're going over the road, you need the folks at Phillips Connect to monitor your trucks, trailers, loads, brakes, wheel bearings, everything that can go wrong on a truck. They've got a sensor for the most part to keep it safe. Phillips-Connect. And if you want a personalized introduction, email me, joe@wforadio.com. And then there's Bernie's. This is Josh Hart, 100,000 square feet of greatness in Ocala, Florida. We went there for Gainesville, and I think people are already talking about going back next year for the big autograph signing. Buying and selling. If you want an exotic, classic muscle, just a cool car, Bernie's has got them. If you're selling, if you want to sell on consignment, if you got a street rod that you never use and you want to put it out there, Bernie's is selling. They also are a dealership for e-bikes. They do frame-off restorations. They do it all. They do movie props and some movies that I can't tell you about because it's super top secret. Go to Bernies.com, BURNYZZ.com to find out more. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about samtech.edu and the next generation of machinists. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's drag racing school. Big story, just tweeted it out. The Coletta family went out there. And it's kind of cool. It's a story that I want to go in a little more in depth later on in the show. RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com will be down there at the Stampede of Speed. And, of course, our friends at Torque Calibration Services of Australia. That's right. We've got an Australian company. This is Matt Clark, Torque Calibration Services of Australia. They do a lot of the V8 supercar teams and a lot of the drag teams down in Australia. They want to be a part of our U.S. Nationals coverage once again. So if you're down there in Oz and, you got to keep these torque wrenches calibrated properly. Otherwise, if you're a couple of pounds off, things can go wrong. We'll tell you all about them later on in the show. But right now, I've got so much greatness down there in the ready room. Like, who do I bring on the show first? Should I bring on the reigning U.S. Nationals winner and champion first? Or should I bring on the guy who's co-hosted the show with me for like 15 years first? Is it going to be Alan Reinhardt? Is it going to be Ron Capps? It's going to be Alan Reinhardt. Because this guy's here every single week. Yeah, man. I got to bring you on so that we can welcome Ron on together. Doesn't that make sense?
I can't believe I just trumped Caps. Okay, I'm happy with that.
That's it. That's your big win for the weekend. He'll get another one maybe on Monday.
I hope I get more than just that this weekend, but I'm looking forward to a good one. It looks like Mother Nature's going to shine on us. I just finished up the press conference, got back from that, and I'm headed over to Lucas Studios as soon as I get off here. So busy day.
Busy guy. All right, let's bring Caps on because he never has to hear ever again in his life about winning the big go because he has already won the big go, and it probably becomes very real this weekend as the defending race winner going back to the site of a massive win.
Rob, how are you?
I'm good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. What's going on?
I don't know. We're just kind of
has your Brainerd hangover dissipated yet?
A little bit. I went to Deadwood, which has a cool car show we do every year, which has tons of our Brainerd fans. And I did that in the off weekend, and we had a few more beers and had some fun with our fans. So I've been hydrating myself, Alan.
You got to hydrate.
Yeah, you were hydrating yourself the last time I saw you at the wheelie bar, but it just wasn't with, not exactly with water or Gatorade.
There's some places that are cool to win, but I'm not sure you can match winning in Brainerd. It's from top to bottom until you leave town. And we tested on Monday, which was kind of cool to just stay there. But, man, it's, again, fans always want to know what track should I go hit. And if you haven't been to Brainerd yet, you better grab your tickets. I say it every year.
Yeah, it was a great evening sitting in there when Christy came over, and we all had a couple of beers and a couple of snacks and kind of relived everything. And ask Dr. Don about trying to buy me a beer. That didn't work out very well for him.
He'll be in Indy. He's flying to Indy now, so he's on a roll. We'll have to ask him.
Right on.
He's got a good record, right? Donnie has got a good record. I forget who it was who told me this.
Hagen always bugs me. He says, "Man, when your cousin Donnie shows up, it's lights out." So I hope it keeps up.
That's it. That's it. All right. So let's, we got to serve two masters here, right? We want to talk about the Lucas Oil Nationals win. It was huge. You win there a lot. I think you've tied now for the lead. What of that? But also then we turn our attention to Indy, and you got a lot of big stuff. I want to ask you those questions. I want to unfold the layers properly, but let's go a little more in depth on the Lucas Oil Nationals. It's all started off with you not even going down the racetrack because a $60 pin broke in your wheelie bar, and the guys decided that we're not going to run it, push them back.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we talked about having certain tracks we get 4 qualifying runs versus the 3. And it's always nice for a crew chief to get that run in because, that Friday afternoon run's so important to be ready for Friday night when that's going to normally be the shot, the hero shot. But the conditions we saw going in, we kind of had an idea that may not be the shot. It may be Saturday, which we saw conditions change so much during the weekend. So luckily for us, there was a huge oil down, and we happened to have the other lane, and we were the next pair. So we did get a chance to make a good run that Friday night after our crew guy caught that issue. So it ended up being okay. In fact, it stayed number 1, which shocked all of us. We towed back, and I thought, there's at least 7 or 8 cars. We may be number 1, but I say we'll be lucky to end up with lane choice on Sunday, and it stayed number 1. So another time Guido just goes up, makes the right call, and ends up being number 1.
Amazing. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm actually going to make a move. I'm going to make an editorial decision. I'm going to remove Ron, and I'm going to remove Alan, and then I'm going to reinsert Ron, and then I'm going to bring back Alan, and then Ron will be in the middle. Which then, he should be in the middle, right? Like, Alan, I deferred to you because of lifelong service to WFO, but now Ron's in the middle, so it'll be easier.
No, actually, he should be above us. A 3-time champion should be able to look down on us peasants.
It's like the Brady Bunch here. I've got you, and then I've got you.
Yes. No, it is true. It is true. But maybe Ron will say something really cool, and I want to clip it out. And it only clips from the middle, too, right? What'd you think of that thing Friday night? I got to ask you. Obviously, I didn't like the way it was portrayed in the media. I talked about it. But when the Top Fuel guys said, hey, we're not gonna run, my optics of the deal was right in the middle of it. And it seemed like it was just racers making a very difficult call in a difficult moment. Whereas I read some stories in the media that said it was a mutiny of racers against the NHRA. I didn't get that vibe. You didn't really have a dog in the fight. You were already you were in the right lane. You went number 1. But what was your take on that, quote unquote? And my version of it is non-controversy.
I didn't even know it. I went across street. We do a thing at the Power Lodge. So I rushed, packed my chute, went to the media center, and rushed up. I didn't know till the next morning. So, but learning about it, and I think Pro had a part in it. And which is great because the communication between Pro and NHRA is great. If you looked at Funny Car, obviously I did my interview down there, and I didn't want to get jinxed when they said I was going to be number 1. I said, there's no way. We dodged some bullets in that right lane that was still the good lane. Nobody made down the left lane in Funny Car. When that car smoked the tires at the hit, it put a bunch of oil, and then it went all the way down the track. And it's hard to get up for safety safari in that amount of time. And then you got to remember there's no lights. So you're under the pressure of getting and Alan could probably talk more about this, but I'm just going off of what I heard. And I know that if I'm in the left lane and I'm in a dragster, there's a chance you're just going to pull out. If people aren't making it down and it's obvious that they just don't have the track surface to even keep traction and get down. And I don't think, and you could be wrong, did anybody even go down in Funny Car? Okay. So that was a tough one. And no lights. They would have loved to gone back and scrubbed it and cleaned it, but it would have been longer, and it was already an hour. So you can't half-ass it is basically it. And that's what Safety Safari was under pressure to do. And that's not right. So I don't blame, and I think it was the right call now looking back. If I know it wasn't real great with the fans apparently, but there's no lights there and it's just part of the deal.
Yeah. Well, no, I wanted your commentary just because, when I say something, nobody cares. But when Ron Capps says something, it's a little more meaningful. And I don't know, there were some stories in the media. Here it is a week later. I'm still a little irked by it because we got so many positive things going right now, like just generally positive things. Winners in Funny Car, winners in dragster, just different. Like anything's possible right now. Nobody's a favorite. It's amazing. And I don't know. I didn't like the focus on that one negative deal, but it was a great race. And now here we are. every race matters from now. I hate to say it, but like Brainerd is the last race that really doesn't matter any more than it's awesome to win a Wally. Whereas starting this week, everything could be life-changing.
I don't know if I go that far, Joe. I mean, Ron's coming into Indy with the point lead because of what happened in Brainerd. And you remember that the point leader after Indy gets the little bump, and he won it by 3 points last year. So I don't believe that Ron right now feels like, Brainerd wasn't that big a deal, because it put him in a position to start with a 10 or 15 point lead on the field when last year 3 points was the margin. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or anything, but
no, and it's 1.5 points. You got to remember that. So we have a small points lead. Obviously, Hagen, we battled with them. They've led the points. We've gone back and forth. There's a lot of teams. Listen, it's funny when I get Allison to the pre-race quote for every weekend. Everybody's pre-race quotes for every team, I guarantee, is they have this plan of going in, which we do as well. But everybody's got this plan of they want to move up in position, and wherever they're at, I don't know who's in 8th or 9th, but I guarantee they want to jump a couple spots, which it's pretty tight the last time I looked. And that's 10 points per jump. So that could be quite a bit. Everybody's got their own little goal for Monday of the U.S. Nationals, but you also don't want to have – I've gone both ways throughout my career before finally winning last year. You don't want to go into Indy with other stuff to worry about, like having to do a certain having to move yourself up or else. I mean, you certainly would love to move up and be in a position where we've gone in last year and we took the points lead at the last minute. We won Indy and that was great. But the ideal Indianapolis U.S. Nationals is to just go race that race and focus on just that race. There is so much going on. Indy is so back to where it used to be back when I started Funny Car with the Big Bud shootout and all that. It was like the Indy 500. You felt like you were there a month. And I'm not even there yet. We go tomorrow, but I feel like it's going to be. Obviously, Friday night qualifying session, we're running this new car, right, the tribute car. So there's all that surrounding. But then you got the Too Fast, Too Tasty, which luckily we're in. That's on Saturday within a race. And then
extra money.
There's
extra money in it this week.
Yeah, extra money. You're right. So those points can be added. The way that it is right now, we are going to leave, no matter what, we're going to win the overall Too Fast, Too Tasty. We can't be passed. I don't even know if that's extra money or if that's extra points on top. I think we get that trophy, which would be cool. But then you take Sunday morning, you got to get up again, and now you got the press conference for the call out. And if you remember last year's call out, it was awesome. I mean, Robert Hite called out Tasca, and it just trickled down. We called out Wilkerson, and it brought Sunday's U.S. Nationals back, I think, to where it used to be. And then you race that race on Sunday. Oh, by the way, then you got to go to bed and you wake up and you have the biggest race in the history of our sport on Monday. So there's a lot going on, and you don't want to have to go into Indy and worry about having to do something. You just want to go try to win it, I think. And, we got a lot going on as it is. Snake called me like 2 minutes before I got on with you, and we talked about some other things. But, yeah, it's going to be – it's already my itinerary for the weekend is so crazy, but I'm trying to enjoy it at the same time. But I want to try to get some blinders on it if I can and just try to focus on the weekend.
We have, the marketing department puts out the calendar of all the stuff, for the autograph session here, or, the Yes program comes back online this week, and they're doing a Cackle Fest at this time, and, they're doing a Tech Talk over here, and they're doing a question and answer thing, and you literally look down that, and I've asked, are we going to have time to race? And, the answer is, well, yeah, we're going to try to squeeze that in too. But when you look at, you literally, without ever watching a race car go down the racetrack, you could wander around and find something to do pretty much every minute of the day. Whether it's a Q&A or whether it's a tech thing or whether it's a Cackle Fest or whether it's an autograph session or whether there's something going on. I mean, from about 10 a.m. until the gates close every day. And we're also going to try to find time to put cars on the racetrack. So hopefully we can squeeze that in.
And a lot of it's being televised. Obviously, you guys know more than I do, but Fox, on big day on Monday. And I think Fox is even covering some of Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. The call out. So Fox Sports 1, Fox, it's NHRA.TV. I mean, if you're not going to be able to get to this race, it's going to be the weekend that we love to be home and not race, which is Monaco, Indy 500 and all that. That's the best. I get up in the morning, have a a good breakfast, and then it's beers and just hang out and watch the best auto racing you can. So our fans are in for a treat the whole weekend, no matter what. And to your point, Alan, we haven't announced it yet, but we have a show car for the Hot Wheels tribute car. It's going to be at the Toyota display. But to your point, it's so busy. We're trying all morning. We're working on times that Snake is going to be signing. We made some special autograph cards that are very cool, and him and I will be over there Friday after the press conference. So 5:00 at the Toyota display for sure, we know. And then Saturdays during the day at a certain time, it'll all be announced on NHRA.com, and then also Sunday. And that car will be at the Toyota display the whole weekend. So fans can go over there and check it out. And that's just part of it. We're trying to figure out time slots we could even put it in.
What time are you going to announce your new top fuel team?
Yes, exactly. When's the second car, Ron?
With a Swedish top fuel driver.
Yeah. You're not doing enough, Ron. Like, that's the thing, Ron. You're not doing enough. You need to work hard.
She's Swedish, right? Or she Danish? She's Swedish. Yeah.
Yeah, she's Swedish.
Yeah.
That would be great. Oh my gosh. All right. Don't confuse things. All right. One big story at a time. Right. Antron brings on Angel, which means anything is possible. Don't tease us, Ron. But seriously though, let's go a little more in depth on this. You like pressure, right? Like you want more pressure. Like, hey, we finally won it. We're a 3-time champ. What could bring more intensity to the Indy experience? I know. We'll bring in the mentor, the old boss, the legend, the Snake. We'll let him warm up the car. We'll put him in there. We'll get all his fans revved up. 1973, 50th anniversary. Hot Wheels fans will do a big tie-in. And everybody's loving the car. And in our chat section, Ron, they all want die casts. I don't know if that's on the radar or what, but I can tell you this is moving the needle, what you guys have done with the Snake. So just talk a little bit how it came together. And I know there will be a show car, but people really want diecast, man.
Yeah, well, we had to make 2 bodies. God forbid something happens, and we have to go to that second body. But that is basically over in the Toyota display will be our backup body, which is identical. It just started as a dream of trying to do something and becoming a team owner. I've always talked to people and looked at NASCAR's throwback weekend they have in Darlington, and I've never really they always kind of do a little bit of an old throwback car, but mixed in with their current cars. There's never been a real legitimate throwback car that really looked like, and we've had some cool ones. Dixon last year, I came out with one. We had Torrance did the Big Daddy, but I always thought that Indy was the perfect place to do something cool. And Dave Merrick, who designs our cars every year, when he sent that, him and I had talked over a couple drinks, and he had the idea, and he goes back and forth to Japan for his real job. And he sent that drawing, and he is so good. I don't think if that rendering hadn't been as good and accurate, and he has friends at Hot Wheels designers, I don't think if that been, because I showed it to Snake, and I'll be honest, Snake teared up. It was the most emotional I've seen Snake. He was blown away. So that's how it started. And then I had to go try to get this all okayed. And if people understood at home now what it's like to do this with Fortune 500 companies and attorneys and insurance and all the things that have to go on, obviously a kid growing up playing with Hot Wheels, you can't just go put this car out there. So it started several months ago, and I have worked I never in my life I worked on something so hard as I had on this. And we literally got the okay Thursday morning before we announced it Friday. The real okay, like everything's signed and completely done. And it was kind of done, but I wasn't comfortable until I had these signatures. So thank you, everybody at Mattel, first of all, and Hot Wheels for making it happen. But NAPA Auto Parts, I sent this off. First, I had to call Snake, and it was right after whatever race we were at, Norwalk, maybe national event. And I had to get his blessing. We were going to try and surprise him, Snake's not good at surprising, believe me. I had to get his okay. And again, he was emotional when I showed it to him. I sat in the parking lot and texted it to him, and he called me, and he was like, he couldn't believe it. So then I had to start the process of Mattel and Hot Wheels. And, but I had to check with my sponsors, Toyota and NAPA, and NAPA is the big one, right? That's a big race for them. And Catherine and Marty, who run our program and all the motorsports and NAPA, were so for it and understood. All I sent was something from Phil Burgess on the history of this year, being 50 years since he won in Funny Car there and 10 years since the movie. and they got it. They were like, we're fine. We'll take NAPA off. We'll put whatever you want to do. Let's run this car. And I even wanted to put more NAPA on the hood. And they said, no, this car is what it was. It deserves to be that. And if you look at we added a NAPA and one of the stars on the hood, and we already had another one. They didn't even want the NAPA on the hood. They wanted this car to be authentic, nothing on the front except the snake like the original. I can't tell you how cool it is to have a sponsor that actually stepped aside and let us do something like this for a weekend in Indy at the U.S. Nationals. So Toyota, same thing. Paul Doleshaw, Slugger, all them, all for it. And that's kind of where it went. And then it's been 4 months or whatever, going back and forth with Mattel and Hot Wheels, trying to get this done and approved. And so happy. God, I'm relieved, but I'm so happy.
So is there at least talk about a diecast? Is that in possibility?
Yeah, obviously Hot Wheels, we were just trying to get approved to run the car. So we'll chat with them after the race. They've already expressed interest. We have Toyota, the new Supra body obviously was new when JR and them brought it out when I started with Toyota. So we have a die-cast company out there that's already going to start making the Supras. So we're in works, and we're going to have some stuff that fans can get. I've been getting tons of messages on social media of where they can buy either the uniform tops we're going to run or shirts or something like that. And we'll do something after the race, but I didn't want anything for sale at the race. I didn't want anything like that. We're making special hats for the team, special uniform tops for the starting line, special T-shirts for the team to wear with Hot Wheels and Snake and all that cool stuff. And we just wanted to run this as a tribute and not go in and like we're going to try and make a bunch of money and do all this. So I think it's the proper way to do it. Snake just called a minute ago, and he says, I can't tell you, after winning Indy that year, 50 years ago, the chance to go back to Indy and win it again after my career, I retired and all this. I don't want to embellish too much of our conversation, but he was so – he's called me every day for 3 months on this, just asking everything could. Are you going to make it happen? So for the fans at home, he is so excited about standing on the starting line with a chance to win Indy again and be a part of it. It blows my mind.
No, that's awesome. And that's what the sport is about. We, our history is so significant. It's going to be fun to watch, and everybody loves it. Like there's nothing that's universally loved. There's always the day we give away $100 bills, someone's going to be like, man, why not 200? Or why are you doing this? So far, everybody has loved this, and bringing Snake 50 years. A lot of us are turning 50 this year or did. And it's just a big, significant deal. Those are the Hot Wheels cars we got to play with one way or another. And now it is real once again. So,
and it's gone beyond drag. I've gotten message from people I know they're actors, rock stars, Mr. Hendrick, who owns the 2 ramp trucks that they sold at Barrett Jackson. Mr. Hendrick, there in Charlotte. I go down the list. IndyCar drivers, owners. It is transformed into way beyond drag racing because, like you said, I mean, so many of us grew up that way, and it's just. And we're also doing a small tribute to Mongoose on the car, which would only be appropriate because, obviously he was a big part of this, and that's what Snake wanted as well. So we'll have something on the cars for Mongoose. But yeah, it was.
You need to call Hendrick and tell him to bring that truck to Indy. There's time.
Yeah. I was hoping he would offer, but I didn't want to. Yeah, maybe we'll get him to Charlotte to bring it out for the fans and park it out there. It is close to the racetrack, but yeah, he's that was very cool to get that text message back.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, you're moving the needle, and that's what it takes. You gotta do stuff, right? You got to do stuff that makes people get excited. And you mentioned the concept of a throwback race. I hope that this is just a kind of insightful to people that we want it. Fans want it. They want to see throwback cars, maybe one at a time every once in a while. Maybe one race somewhere will be the throwback race, but you're doing a good job to.
Here's the idea. I had somebody even threw out there to me. We're running Night Under Fire again next year, which we do every year, Mr. Bader's track. And I'm going to talk to Forrest about him running a Mongoose car, and we bring this car back and run Night Under Fire side by side under the lights, which would be something pretty cool. So again, there's so many things that have to go, attorneys and all that, but how cool would that be to see those 2 cars lined up?
Oh my God.
You know what Forrest is going to say, right? I want to be Snake.
Yeah. That's all right.
Like when we're kids, we used to play cowboys and Indians. Like, how come I got to be Indian? I want to be Snake.
Who doesn't want to be Snake? Now, he's going to warm up the car on Friday. This is a big deal. And, I don't know when the last time he warmed up a car was. Maybe it was pretty recently, just undercover. Maybe it was a long time. What do you know?
If you could hear him in our conversations about warming up, he didn't want to mess with our tune-up. He was so adamant, but he has not been in a car. He's like, man, well, you got to show me what to do. And I said, Snake, we're just going to warm it up. It's so early in the day, 4:00, and then we're going to have the press conference right next to it. We're not going to do tug, which clutch settings for the fans at home. But Snake will warm it up. And I can't wait to see his face because he has not literally been in a car since he jumped out of the top fuel car that year. And he was a little worried, believe it or not, a little nervous, but he's more nervous about not messing with our tune-up, having to warm the car up earlier. So Guido's already assured everything's going to be fine. We'll be okay. But I cannot wait to watch him in that car with it banging and popping on the jack stands and just his excitement. It's brought a whole new level to doing this. He's so pumped about everything.
Whack the throttle.
Guido said that yesterday. He goes, what if I reached over the blades and acted like I was going to hit the throttle? I go, you can deal with the wrath of Snake. I'm not. Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
Give me the old hold the brake signal.
Yeah.
Awesome. But look, the excitement that everybody has. It's just a story. It's just a rap, right? Let's do some artwork. But it has captured the imagination of people. And that's what this whole thing is about. Like, I don't want to stop talking about it, but there's other stuff to talk to you about, right? Like, we could talk Snake all day, 100 stories. We want him back. We want him at every race. Snake, if you're out there, come on. But, I want your take on the call out. How about that, right? Last year, Robert called out Tasca. I was going down the list of the people, like, boy, if I was Robert, who would I call out? And I don't know, man. It's tough. Like, this is brutal.
Tasca was second. We're second this year. He might call us out. I mean, I don't know. That was pretty cool. It definitely, you were there. It woke the whole room up and everybody. And we were all backstage. We all had our crew chiefs on speed dial or on speakerphone because it's a team effort as far as I'm concerned, who we were going to call out. So we're all waiting for that to drop. And when Robert did that, it was like, wow. So we were third pick. So that took away the second pick by Tasca. And we went with Wilkerson because he wilked us the year before in Indy final. And we wanted retribution on that, which we got. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Robert does. But it certainly changes things up, and I love it. And then you don't necessarily know that you're going to run who you run because quickest winners of the first round of the call out get the first chance to call out whoever else is left that won. So it's not necessarily just you win and you get lane choice. So I love the format. I love what NHRA did. I love everything about it. And we'll have to see on Sunday what happens.
Alan, final question for Ron before we let him go and begin his pre-Indy meditation or whatever he does.
No, I think I got what I needed. He pretty much admitted to the top fuel team that has been, the big secret floating around here. So,
what'd you think?
Just I know you're looking forward to getting here, Ron. I know you got a lot of stuff to do. I'm looking forward to the race. I am beyond excited to be back to racing on Monday. I am beyond excited to be back to having the 5 sessions, because Indy's always Indy. And, when we came out of the COVID break and we run the 4 races here and every one of them still was Indy. But I don't know. And I mean, you can agree or disagree here, but the last couple of years, if you win it, it's Indy. If your immortality is there, but it just didn't feel the same. And this year, I mean, it's only Tuesday and it already feels like Indy again. So that's what I'm pretty excited about. And I don't know. I mean, you kind of in the same boat?
Yeah, I don't know why we don't have a second race, an earlier in the season race at that track. The U.S. Nationals is what it is, and everybody's going to plan their Labor Day around the U.S. Nationals, the big go. NHRA owns the track. Why don't we have a race in May, June, April at one of the best facilities, and it's owned by NHRA, and all the tracks are all the So anyway, but with that being said, it is definitely back. There's no doubt. I can tell you my anxiety, my nerves, just getting ready to fly there is much like it was when I started driving for Snake and Funny Car. The first year I went there with the, big bud shootout and all that stuff, there was just, you had to prepare yourself for a long weekend of racing. And for the fans going, it's going to be epic.
Absolutely. All right, Ron, we're going to let you go. We can't wait. We'll see you this weekend. Obviously, there's so much going on. Just ride it and good luck. And obviously congratulations on last year, but you got a chance to got a chance to go back to back, which is something that you have been able to do with championships. Maybe you'll do it with Indy too. Thank you for sharing the story in the snake car again. Amazing stuff. Congratulations on winning Brainerd once again. But crunch time now. It's all tough stuff leading into the countdown and the In-N-Out Burger finals in Pomona. It's a long way away, but not really. So we'll see. Good luck in the whole run.
Appreciate it, man. Well, we got the WFO mojo, so that's always good to have going in the next race, especially this weekend.
That's true.
I'll hop off here and listen to you guys chat for a while. And appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. There he goes. Ron Capps with us here on WFO Radio. How about that, Alan? Like, that's just like our quasi funny car preview, right? Like, we got to, people are in there saying that Hagen should get a mongoose car. And it's amazing how the scheme of one car can change the conversation.
Yeah. And, like what Ron says about the throwback weekend, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that, but I kind of like the one-offs. I mean, this car and this whole situation is going to attract a ton of attention that would be diluted if there was 10 of them out there. You know what I mean? And, I've followed NASCAR closely for a number of years. I know a lot of people that make a living over there. I've got a lot of friends over there. I pay attention to what they do over on that side of the fence. And I do appreciate when they do their Darlington throwback weekend. But when 25 of the 30 cars all do some kind of thing, there's not one that's really special. And to have a team or a couple of teams that would do this every year that stands out, I really believe that that's a better way to go. And, Ron mentioned, if they're doing it the night of fire or night under fire up at Bader's, I think that's awesome. I mean, the huge crowd that they have up there and all the things, that would be a beautiful place to do something like that. But I think that this car is going to attract so much attention because it's the only one. When Steve Torrance did the Big Daddy car, everybody came out and went, wow, that's cool. But if there had been 5 other Top Fuel cars that had a throwback, it just would have diluted, the one guy that went out of his way to make it happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing the car in person, looking forward to seeing Snake out there on the starting line, looking forward to everything about it. It's going to be fun.
All right, so let's rapid fire because we're already, quite a bit in. We've got a big audience out there. Thank you guys for helping us defeat the algorithm out there. Share and push it out there because this is the show that people are going to be watching as they cruise in to Indy. But you were somewhere last weekend, and Brad wants to know why Beach Bend can't hold a national event. What about Beach Bend? I was watching you guys on the stream. Give us a little bit of a recap. What went down? I know you raced yesterday, so that wasn't according to plan. But summarize.
Well, it was pretty hot Friday and Saturday. It was very warm, like Topeka-ish. And then Sunday it rained all day, and yesterday was a much more comfortable day when we finished it up. But overall, it was a really good event, except for being a day long. We had just over 500 cars. I think was the total. And good action, good activity. The place is amazing. I love the racetrack. I don't believe it's big enough to hold a national event, and the ingress and egress would also be a little bit of a problem. Anybody that's ever been to Beach, there is one 2-lane road for about 3 miles that comes into the racetrack through a residential neighborhood, and that would be a problem as well. But the vibe of the place is cool. We had solid car count, we had good performances, and other than the fact that it rained on Sunday and we didn't get to finish until Monday, it really was a great event. When you have a W stock automatic that won the stock shootout and then came back and won stock eliminator, that was pretty cool because that doesn't happen very often.
That is pretty amazing. Michael Heiner is out there. We'll get into it into pro stock. So let's how Galvin do? How Jason Galvin do?
I'm sorry, Joe, you're breaking up.
Oh, really? That poorly?
I'm sorry, Joe, you're breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
Wow. Okay. Wow. He doesn't want to talk about Jason Galvin. That's fine. I guess that means not very well.
Oh, you're back. Right. Okay, good. I heard that. Okay, go ahead.
Poor kid.
Jason had a short weekend. It was a little rough.
Okay. Listen, that's all I wanted to hear. All right. Funny car standings. He caps his top of the points. You got Hagen. You got Height. You got Tasca. You got Chad Green. You got Alexis, who has won this thing. You got Wilk, who's won this thing. J.R. Todd, who's won this thing. Forrest, who's got a bunch of wins. Cruz. Like, this thing is just brutal in funny car. And is there a way to handicap this race at all? Right? Or is it more of a just sit back and watch and enjoy, because there's no real way to think about it in terms of who's up or who's down in this one-off super race?
Everybody's going to be looking to, as Ron said, if you can make a move, you can make a couple of spots, you can get a couple of points. Okay. I think the 2 most important things to watch are going to be Caps and Hagen, because they're separated by less than a round, right? It's points and a half. So they're separated by less than one round. So who is going to get the bonus for being first? And I think the other thing that everybody's going to be watching is Blake Alexander. Can he get in? Because he didn't attend all the races, so he doesn't get the free pass. He's going to have to earn his way into the top 10, and he currently sits 11. And I really think that those are the two most important things to watch. Who's going to be number one and get the bonus points going into the countdown? And does Blake get in? Because that could very seriously influence Jim Head and whether or not they decide to run the last six. I don't know that they're planning to or not, but I think if he's in the countdown to the championship, that's going to give him a whole lot more incentive to go ahead and run out the string than if he's not. That may give him, a little incentive to go, you know what, I'm going to go fishing this weekend.
Yeah, no, I got it. And I think last year it was something similar. He had like a trip to Italy planned or something. It's like, yeah, except I'm going to Italy. Get it. Top Fuel. Justin Ashley, obviously the points leader, but Torrance, Antron, who made the big announcement that Angel is going to drive for him. We had the exclusive first interview here on WFO. Everybody can go back and watch that. It was really interesting. It was right after the big press conference, media availability, and then they came on the show, and it was kind of like an after party where everyone was relaxing, which is exactly what this show is supposed to be. And they just kind of let it all hang out. But I love the idea that Angel is going to be driving a nitro car with a goal of going to Top Fuel as soon as she's ready. That's why when Cap starts saying stuff, I'm thinking, I just want to believe everything is going to happen. That's pretty amazing. But we haven't gotten your take on this yet. I know you're tight with Angel going way back. How excited are you to see her drive something with four wheels?
Yeah, and it's, certainly different. She's never driven anything in competition like that. And it did take her a couple of runs in the dragster to get comfortable with it. Just, the burnout, the staging procedure and that kind of thing. But after making the 4 runs in Brainerd, they came down to Indianapolis where they had an open test, made a few more runs in the car, and she's got her license now and got that behind her. Looking forward to her making a debut later on in the season. I'm assuming, and I don't know this, but I'm assuming that she will run the car again a time or two at a test session just to get a couple more laps under her belt before she goes into real competition. But, Angel is very competitive and Angel is very driven, and, you give her a goal and give her some instructions and she is going to figure out how to make the most of that opportunity. So I think it's great. I think that, we've seen Antron make the transition. So, and I think it goes into, the old somebody with talent can climb any mountain. Angel, with the ability that she has and with the passion that she has and the drive that she has to win, I think that you put her in a competitive machine and she's going to do a good job for you. So I'm looking forward to watching the progression there.
Yeah, very, very exciting. Obviously, the favorites are the same favorites of the season, but you got Antron surging. You've got Torrance, who's been running well. You've got Justin Ashley. Like, these guys have all gotten a win. Brittany making final rounds. Leah got a win. So it's going to be just very, very interesting. It's wide open, all battle. Langdon and Tony sitting on the outside of the top 10, but it's not really something that matters at this point, given that they have fulfilled the responsibility of showing up at each race.
Yeah,
someone asked about car counts. I'm looking at full car counts plus.
Yeah, I think
yes. Go ahead. Talk about the points. I can see you want to get in.
But no, I just think that you look at both Tony and you look at Sean, and if you haven't performed up to now, I just don't see either one of them flipping a switch and all of a sudden go, okay, boy, we're going to be, we're going to start knocking them down now. If you haven't figured it out by now, and both those teams stayed in Brainerd and tested, but, we've talked about it all summer long, right? I mean, you go through the Western Swing, you've got the last couple when we're going through Kansas and going through Brainerd, you better have your ducks lined up by the time we get to Indy. And I just don't see anybody that's 9, 10, 11, 12, even if you're going to be, if you're going to be in the countdown because of going to all the races and fulfilling the obligation there. I just don't see anybody that, if your performance hasn't been there up to now, you're going to have to prove to me that you can turn it around. I think Brittany is close, right? They've been to some final rounds. They've showed some promise. They've made a lot of good runs. They've strung a few together, just not quite enough. Leah has had a really good race car. She went to Western Swing and ended up with bad results, but she had a good race car. And she comes in here with a little momentum after the runner-up in Brainerd. I think that, that's a car that could make a move. I've been waiting for Doug Coletta to bust out of a funk for a year and a half. And I'm not going to say that, you can knock me over for feather that he does, but if they haven't got it by now, what makes you believe that tomorrow it's going to be, oh, well, there it is. Okay, they finally found what they've been missing. The magic combination is here. The car has certainly made some good runs from time to time, but they haven't made good runs on a consistent basis. And if Justin Ashley can clean up his first rounds, then I really believe he is a far and above favorite for the championship over the rest of the field. Because once they get rolling on Sunday, they've been all but unstoppable. So all they've got to do is clean up those first round exits. And I really, really believe that he is the big favorite going through this thing. As good as some of the other cars are out there right now, when he gets momentum on Sunday, he's been unstoppable.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I think Austin Prock last year, though, he surged forward probably as much as any one person could or will, having not really had great performances prior to. I don't know if Sean and Tony are in that situation, but I guess that's why we got to do it. And like Drag Race Central is on there saying, I'm praying that this is the last year of the participation countdown. I've been asking the audience, and I think people realize that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because the year that you do the cutoff and you put Sean and Tony on the outside, they are going to go on a crazy run, and they're going to cause us to have a story. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. Michael Heiner is out there, Pro Stock. I don't know, feels like a real big one-off. I know everyone has their, speaking of consolation prizes, it'd be nice to move from 9th to 7th or 11th to 9th, but this is a one-off super win, and I can tell you Michael Heiner has been preparing this for a while. Greg and Erica and everybody have. This is the one you want to win. How do you win it in Pro Stock?
Well, a combination of preparation and good fortune. I think that, everybody over the years, there haven't been a lot of somebody who just come in and run the table and dominated. You need to be prepared, and you need to have some good fortune. I think that Indy, from a Pro Stock standpoint, Indy, the racetrack is a little bit more finicky than some of the places we go, especially when it's hot. Now, at least the forecast looks like it's not going to be, the baking hot summer Indy that we've seen in years past. So that may be a little bit of that may give the teams a little bit of a cushion, a little bit of a bigger window to work through. But I think, I really think a big part of it is getting off on the right foot. If you come out Friday night with the one qualifying session on Friday and you make a solid run, I'm not saying you have to set the track record, but be in the top 5, make a solid run, then I think that's going to set the tone for your weekend. If you come out Friday night and shake the tires, then I think that also kind of sets the tone a little bit. You go back into okay, now Saturday, now what do we do? Well, we better be careful. We better do, and you just start off at a deficit there. So I think Friday night is going to really set the tone for the weekend. I don't know that it's going to tell the tale for the whole weekend, but that to me is huge, because you go out and make that clean run on Friday night, then you go back to the hotel or you go back to motorhome that night and you go, okay, now let's get to work, let's go racing, as opposed to making a throwaway run or a terrible run on Friday and then going back and spending the whole night going, okay, now I have to start from scratch and everybody else is at least one run in front of me.
Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith, defending race winner, has had great success. Eddie Krawick, of course, the winningest of the active drivers. But Gage Herrera, right, here we go. This is, I think, the first of the, you've had a great season, but if you don't win Indy, but if you don't win the championship, then it's not as great as it could be. If he's going to run the table, this is a big step right here. I think the kid's up to it. He's got the guys, Vance and Hines right around the corner, but there's a lot of people, Matt Smith being one of them. And I know White Alligator Racing, Tim Kalungian, they have got some things that they've been working on, which we all know they will be unleashing as best as they can here.
Yeah, and I guess time will tell, but all year long, Gage has had a better motorcycle than anybody in the field, and all year long, he's done a superior job of riding. Has he made a couple of mistakes? Yes, absolutely he has. But on average, he has done a very nice job sitting in the saddle, and he has had the best motorcycle, and that's just a scary combination. When we've seen that years past, whether it was John Myers, whether it was Dave Schultz, whether it was Angel, whether it was, Drew Hines, whether it was when you have the combination of your bike just seems to be working better than anything else, and your confidence as a rider is, then you've got a clear advantage over the field. And right now, I think Gage Herrera, kind of like Justin Ashley, I think that I believe that he is the big favorite going into not just this race, but to the countdown as well. And I think I'm going to continue to believe that until somebody proves me wrong.
Yeah, he's got a 359-point lead that he's going to lose a lot of it. It might end up being more than that. Who knows what will happen with points and a half here at Indy, but it's going to be very exciting. All right.
Yeah, but it all disappears on Tuesday, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. It could be 400. It's all gone. You got to do it. You got to do it again. Lyle Barnett won Pro Mod last year. We're in race 2 of their road to the championship. Julie Natas comes in as defending race winner and top alcohol dragster. She's in the points battle. Category by category, we've got Hemi Challenge, we've got Factory X 4 cars, we've got Factory Stock Showdown, we've got the call outs, we've got everything. It's just so much. It's not only back, it's bigger than it's ever been. I can't think of a time that I have experienced Indy with more bonus races. Right, everybody talks about the big bud shootouts and stuff, and those were great. There's like multiple bonus races all over the place, class eliminations, all of this stuff. So just take a couple of moments to highlight what's on your mind. I know that you are thinking about maybe, things other than the Camping World Series.
Well, I think the Roof Tech Comp Clash is a biggie. When you put $50,000 up for the Comp Eliminator guys and turn them loose, I think that's going to be pretty special. And, you're right. There is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of extracurricular activity that's going to be taking place this weekend. But that's like we talked about when Ron was on. It feels like Indy again. And 10 years ago, we used to sit and have the meetings in the morning when it's like, okay, again, this autograph session, then there's this, unveiling, then there's this press announcement, then there's this cackle fest, then there's this, then there's this, then there's this. And it's like, oh, by the way, we're going to try to run race cars in the middle of it. And this really feels like that again. And it certainly hasn't felt that way. At least to me, it hasn't felt that way since we took the COVID break and came out, because we've been, just kind of creeping our way back to what used to be. And now that it looks like we're, back to at least normal-ish, it really does feel like Indy again. Coming in and, racing on Monday is a big part of it. And all the other stuff that they want to do during the course of the weekend, it's going to be busy.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. All right, we'll let you go. You're already busy. You're at the press conference. Alan, great job as usual. We'll be on track tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Here we go.
8 a.m. tomorrow, we start with sportsman qualifying and time trials, and then class stuff starts on Thursday, and off we go. Yeah, I'm actually headed over to Lucas right now. I've got some studio stuff I've got to do this afternoon for them, and then the Sportsman Appreciation Dinner tonight. I'm going to try to make an appearance over there, and we're off and running. So it's go time, big go
time, baby, go time. All right, Alan, we'll see you there.
Go time. See you. Thanks.
Later. There he goes. The voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhardt, joins us each week right here on WFO Radio. But don't move a muscle, guys. Here's the only thing that's been missing from the world of NHRA drag racing, right? Like, everybody has wanted a way to participate in what's going on from home in a way that is super easy, that allows you to follow along and pick winners and try to test your knowledge and skill. Right? Everybody has wanted to do that. When we come back after a very short and quick break, we are going to hear from someone who has invested their life, their children's college funds, all has gone into this for the sport of drag racing. And we want to give you the opportunity to play for the big go this weekend, right after
this. For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
That running mid-roll commercials. Yeah, the big go is so big that we change our spot format. All right, joining us now, Mr. Elon Werner.
Joe, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great, Elon. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Sound crystal clear. You know how to do the broadcast thing. All right. So I gave you a big hype job, right? I'm gonna be talking about Super Comp and Top Sportsman and Top Dragster a little bit later. I want everybody to log on, but I want everybody to participate in this amazing thing that you have got going on. Everybody, we have got a QR code, but we've also got a link that we're going to put on the screen. But explain to the WFO universe what you have created, something that I believe, and I know you believe, has been missing for fans of drag racing.
Sure. I'm a huge fan of college basketball. So every March I fill out my bracket and then kind of follow it through. I'm not a huge college basketball fan, but it's something I do. We have that system 20 times a year at our races. Top Fuel 16 car field, Funny Car 16 car field, Pro Stock motorcycle. And I've always wanted to give fans the chance to, when the fields are set, fill out their brackets all the way to the winner and then lock it once eliminations start, and then let fans just watch and see how their picks play out. And I've developed that with a web team out of Colorado, so that on Sunday night of the U.S. Nationals, when the fields are set, fans can go log in. You can sign up now at dragracebracketbonanza.com. And then you'll get an email alert on Sunday night as soon as the fields are set that the brackets are open. The brackets will be open for you to make your picks from Sunday night until Monday morning during the national anthem. Then they lock. And then throughout the day, as drivers get eliminated and the race goes on, your bracket is updated and it turns green if you made a correct pick, red if you made a wrong pick. You get more points the more correct picks you make. You get more points for upsets. And then at the end of the race, there'll be an overall winner for the U.S. Nationals. Whoever had the highest points for Top Fuel, whoever had Funny Car, Pro Stock motorcycle. So every race, there'll be 5 winners. And I've got plaques made up, and we're going to carry it on all the way through the end of the year.
That's awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link, because we have a QR code. The QR code is going to go on the screen. It's going to go on the screen again and again. But the way I kind of think about it is most people are watching this on their phone, which means they can't scan the QR code. So this is going out on social media. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to drop the link in the chat section. And that is dragracebracketbonanza.com. Well, what I think is interesting is that you have identified that there are a lot of people who do not care about college basketball at all, that fill out a bracket, because filling out a bracket, seeing how you did, is a fun thing that people do. Why not do it with this other thing, which happens to be the sport we love?
And the one thing that I love about drag racing is it's a universe that I've been involved in for 30 years. And I have satellite friends that I'm trying to talk about Justin Ashley or Matt Hagan or Cameron Caruso, and they're not really familiar. They don't really have a way to connect with it. Since we started testing this, I sent the website to all random friends, people that didn't know anything about drag racing. And they are now engaging me in drag racing talk. They know the U.S. Nationals are happening this weekend. These are people that have known me for years. So my goal is for people like you and me, Joe, that know sports people, that are cousins or our neighbor, hey, this is a cool game. You don't have to know anything about drag racing. Eventually, we will add photos for the driver or for the car, so you can make random picks, even if you don't know anything. Hey, I like this guy's smile. I want to pick all the women racers, things like that will bring non-endemic fans in. But the goal is to give us a conversation piece around drag racing that kind of just makes the tent a little bit bigger.
Excellent. So we're going to put the QR code on the screen in a few seconds. So if you're watching on your desktop, get your phone ready, do all that stuff. I like to prepare them. The link is in the chat section, and we'll tweet it out as well. The WFO Patreons, they got in on this a couple of days ago. And so they are hopefully all signed up and ready to go. And I signed in. For me, I signed in on a desktop. I created my login on a desktop, and then I signed in mobile, and I'm good to go. It all depends on what you want to do, but it's just something extra to do around our biggest race. And through our countdown, little things like that are what make the difference.
And it's really cool because it will give you kind of a little extra level of interest in the race. You know, you have a favorite driver, have a favorite rider. You know, it's for all 4 categories. And there's a little competition. There'll be a leaderboard. So you'll see the top 10 in each category, and overall, you'll know how many points you could potentially earn as soon as you make your picks. And then throughout the day, you could see, like, going into the final round, you may be in third place in top fuel, but you've picked Clay Milliken to win, and the people in front of you may have another driver. So you could see your projected points. So now you got like a skin in the game. Like, oh my God, if Clay Milliken wins this race, I'm going to win top fuel. So you have that dynamic element of it. So you really, if you're watching it in real time, and it's a great partner to have. Like if you're watching on NHRA TV, you're watching it live on NHRA TV, you have your bracket right there. You're completely interacting with the game and watching it live on your phone or your TV or whatever.
I love it. I know this is the thing. You were there at the beginning. I hate to date ourselves, but fantasy sports, right? What is this? Yeah. What's going on? Fantasy sports. Who cares? What is next thing you know? Maybe I play it, and people are invested in things they never cared about because they are personally connected. I want to be a winner in that game. Now, what do the winners get? Like, what happens if you win? For the races for U.S. Nationals, I got these really cool kind of ceramic plaques that say Drag Race Bracket Bonanza U.S. Nationals overall winner Indianapolis 2023. And then there's a Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock bike. So that'll be U.S. Nationals. Then we'll roll to Reading, the 6 playoff races. There'll be individual winners for each of those races, but then the overall countdown winner, the person that gets the most points through all 6 races, I got these really kick-ass championship belts, like old school wrestler, antique brass, super heavy, like exactly what Skandar Akbar would break right over, one of the Von Erich's heads. So there's a championship belt and then a runner-up belt for the overall people, and it's free to play. So I'm going to come up with some other little tchotchke prizes, maybe if the tiebreakers are picking the top speed correctly on race day. So really, quite honestly, it's still a work in progress. I want to make sure it works. I want to make sure people can enjoy it. And then over the off season, we're going to work on making it even better for 2024. Right. And then we sell it to DraftKings. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. But listen, this show is full disclosure, right? I told him about the college fund. Yeah. You drain the college fund to build this on. But hey, Michael Heiner says he loves it. Yeah. And Walt Walker says he loves it. Like, people love this kind of things. William says, I play fantasy football every year. It has tripled my viewing of football. Yeah. It's just a way to connect yourself to an outcome. And then Ron Capps doesn't win. You win, which is cooler than Ron Capps winning. And I do really believe in the idea of growing your circle of people that are playing. So we have a group of family friends. There's about 3 families, all the kids and husbands and wives play, and we do football for the playoffs in NFL. And ESPN, you used to just pick games. Now you're picking, which running back is going to have the most yards and receiving yards and things like that. So it's basically all getting people used to making prop bets for gambling. You're just grooming them to do that, which is fine. That's what of course. But the people that in the circle, young ladies playing college students, guys that really don't know anything about football, they are picking based on random things. Oh, I like this uniform. I like this mascot. I like, but it makes it fun because now you're watching the game and you've got almost like a skin in the game of watching it on FS1, watching it on Fox, that, I got to tune in because I want to see how my picks are doing. It's a road that has been well beaten, and drag racing has not yet done it with something sustaining. The bracket's a lock, so you can't change your pick before the final round, just like your March Madness bracket. Just like fill it out, and you just see how you did. And I hope everybody digs it. I'm excited about having it out there because I do a bracket just because of the nature of my job. I keep track of people, but it is something that I think it will be fun for people to do, to see how it turns out, give them a conversation piece. And then hopefully the plan is for next year to be able to have people make your own group. So you could play in the overall Drag Race Bracket Bonanza universe, but you could also
invite 5, 10, 20, 30 of your friends to have your own league.
Excellent. All right, guys, QR
Cool.
code up on the screen. The link is in the chat section. Sign up. And let me just say this, Elon, you don't say this. Like you having a developer do this, you're not Google. If there's a little glitch or something, just email them. Tell them. Like,
Right.
This is
For
part
sure.
of it. This is part of why he's on with WFO, because it's, in many ways, is it safe to say, like a big beta test?
Yes,
right?
this
Like,
is. I treat like you were involved in the alpha test. Then we did beta testing. I opened it up to more people for like Topeka and Brainerd. Really, these next 7 races are kind of a soft opening. I just want to get more people playing it, get their feedback, get their, hey, I'd like to have pictures. I'd like to have stats. Really, honestly, we're using all the Amazon, AWS back. So it's scalable. So if 10,000 people get on it, it should work. But as it's going with more people, it may lag a little bit. It may, but we're working on that to speed that up. So the biggest thing for us is be patient. It is something new. If it does crash, this is completely Elon Werner funded. So I'm not I just want to get this thing out there and see if it works and then see what it could become. Is it a fantasy deal? Is it a betting deal? I don't know.
right.
So
Just get the idea up. Like,
just
that
get it
what
out
makes
there,
it
get
great.
people involved.
Yes. Let them know.
You do answer a couple questions to play. How many races do you go to? How many do you watch on TV? And if you play fantasy sports, and that's just so I can have a good idea of who's playing. But I'm not going to bomb you with a million emails or anything like that. We are planning on setting it up so you can get text updates if you want to. Whether or not that'll happen before the end of this year, I don't know, but that's also a plan. But doing it on your mobile device is, some people's mobile devices have little quirks.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to turn your phone sideways a little bit to see, but it should work on every mobile device. It should work on laptops. So I'm excited about it. And I just want people to, we're on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter or X, and then Instagram. So it's pretty much Drag Race Bracket Bonanza on Twitter. We're Drag Race BB. So
excellent. Well, we got a bunch of people that are signing up already. I don't know if you can
Awesome.
see the chat section where you are, the comments I'm putting on the screen, but everyone likes it. Look, Buddy Hull is even out there. He says you're always bringing value to drag racing. Hulked.
Yeah, I can't wait. Buddy's actually going to run a Drag Racing Bracket Bonanza decal on his car this weekend. So I couldn't thank him enough. He's been a big encourager. He's an entrepreneur, and he's just been super supportive. I bounced ideas off of him, a number of other guys. So now I'm interested to see how the racers respond to it, and things like that. So
excellent. Now this guy, like, we're doing this in real time, right? The logo is just spinning for me. What does that mean? I don't know what you're going to tell him, but I'll tell him. I had that problem from my iPhone 13 Pro. And what I did was I went to desktop and I signed in and I created a login on desktop. And so I'm in. I can play, use my desktop, and I'm going to sort out what my mobile challenge is at a later date. Mobile is all these different devices and Android and all of this different stuff. But for me, I signed in desktop and I'm ready to go. So, you guys are working on all that stuff.
Yeah. So, so I think if you get the spinning icon, maybe just log out and log back in, because it may just be a little glitch as how it's loading.
Oh, we're taxing it, baby. All the W
or hit your refresh, because that's the other thing is some people that have been beta testers have some of the old stuff stored in their phones. So they almost have to refresh, clear your history, and then log back in through just bracketbonanza.com.
Excellent. Yeah, there's been multiple versions.
Yeah. But Joe, I have to thank Joe. Joe has been one of the best beta testers for me, because the last couple races, he's like, hey, I'm doing this. And then I immediately send it to my developer guys. Hey, and like Joe's made videos for me of like, hey, so the more data, and there's a customer service email on there. You can just email me directly, just elon@dragracebracketbonanza.com. And you can be like a screen grab or a quick little video. I send it right to our developers and they pretty much get right on it. So
great. No, listen, I went with the WFO app in like 2009. I believe we were the first app in drag racing, WFO Radio, not because of me, but because a good friend of mine started an app business, and it was just great timing. But went through the process of testing app stuff. Does this work? Does it? Yes, no, A, B, what's happening? What's going on? And so I think that the WFO universe will want to help you.
Yes, I want that feedback. I want people to poke holes in it. I'm open to constructive criticism. I'm open to, hey, I like this. This looks weird. We really just wanted proof of concept to get it out there and get it working.
That's it.
And then we'll make it even better.
When you tell people that, not only do they understand any glitch that may happen, but they want to be a part of it and help.
Yeah.
So I think it's exciting. All right. So everybody hit the website, but listen, we got John here. Let's talk U.S. Nationals. I really want to talk two things with you before we let you go. One being the Stampede of Speed at the Texas Motorplex. I'm
actually at the Motorplex right now.
You are at the Motorplex. This is what the Motorplex looks like from the inside, guys. Look at
this. This is my old office when I was the general manager. It's actually some of the things still. This picture, right here, has been on the wall here for 25 years.
Amazing. So let's continue the promotion first. Stampede of Speed, couple weeks, Champions Dinner tickets. Everybody's asking me like when, what's going on.
Champions Dinner tickets will go on sale. Champion Dinner tickets on sale after the U.S. Nationals, and that'll have Justin Ashley, Ron Capps, Erica Enders, Hector Rana Jr. will all be there. Plus, we invite former winners. Erica is asked to have filet mignon. Hector's asked for barbecue. Ron Capps is asked for apple pie a la mode for his dessert, and then Justin Ashley's New York style cheesecake. So first year, the Nitro guys got to pick the entrees. Pro Stock guys got to pick the desserts. We flipped it this year. It'll flip back next year. So we'll have a lot of former winners there. Live band afterwards, a great VIP gift. It's Wednesday night. We'll have professional testing during the day. I don't know which teams are going to be there. Thursday night is the free fan fest in downtown Waxahachie. We're excited to have the Jegs All-Stars here at that race. So the Jegs All-Stars will be part of the fan fest. So you'll be able to meet the Jegs All-Stars and the Camping World Stars at Fan Fest on Thursday night.
Nice.
And then we roll right into the race on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The weekend before, we got a 2-day country western concert. Midland's the headliner on Sunday. Beer expo, barbecue contest. Just like a whole spectacular thing now. It's just growing. We've already had bands reach out for next year. So we should be able to announce our headliners, hopefully at this year's Stampede of Speed. And we're excited to be part of the playoffs. I mean, the countdown. I mean, this is a race that, being the third race, the third to last race, you really give, that's when guys are going to make their move for the championship or, not.
Or not, right. Or trip, right? Like, well, exactly. And this year has been amazing. I will be getting there the Thursday before.
Yeah. So Joe is super excited to have Joe as the voice of the Stampede of Speed. Your support of the event has made it grow, has helped us get new people in there. Can't thank you enough for being that consistent voice, which I think every major event has. So
we're gonna have fun. I had such fun last year. Went in and had a good knowledge of everyone. I walked out feeling like I was part of the fam, which was very cool. I'm going to be extending that, and our WFO Patreon meetup, which we do a different one each year, is this year at the Stampede of Speed.
Fantastic.
Dave and Sue Morris are coming in from South Carolina to race there. We got a lot of people that are coming in to be a part of this thing, especially the Champions Dinner, because not everybody can be there for 10 days, right? Like the country concerts, that's kind of a local focus thing. But I would say get there for that Champions Dinner, baby.
And that Champions Dinner, we'll have more former winners there, and that's a deal where we just want to celebrate the former winners of the Fall Nationals. I think that's one thing that we kind of don't do a very good job of event to event to event, is the fact that you won the Fall Nationals. That's a big deal. You should be celebrated for that.
Yeah.
And,
100%.
I want to ultimately have a picture someday that has 30 or 40 Fall Nationals winners in it. That's my goal. We had about 12 last year, so
Yeah, no, it was fun. Like the champions dinner was super fun. Like it's limited tickets, by the way, so I don't want to over pitch it because
it's like 200 tickets this year. So it's worth it because you get seating with the champions, former winners, a great plated meal, a couple complimentary drinks, and there's a bar there, and then the live concert afterwards. We'd had cigar rolling last year. We had a whiskey tasting. So there's all these kind of cool VIP elements.
Just make sure there's gas in your car when you go to leave.
Yes,
that can be a problem.
That's tricky.
From what I understand.
Yes,
but we'll see. All right, U.S. Nationals this weekend. Take it anywhere you want, Elon. Go in any direction that you want. As we're hyping this thing, you might have a different angle than I do.
This I've been going to the U.S. Nationals since the mid '90s, and I have never been more excited to just be a fan of drag racing and going to the U.S. Nationals. The competition level, the quality of cars, you're going to have 20 cars in most of these categories trying to get 16 spots. Even classes like Factory Stock Showdown, they're going to have 30 cars, and it's an all-run field. But I just feel like the buzz, all the things leading up to it, the press conference today, Dodge is doing stuff. Cruz Pedregon has his open house on Thursday night. DSR's doing their open house on Friday. All these things that just lead up to making this event truly our Indy 500 or our Daytona 500 mega event for us to wrap up the regular season. There's so many storylines about, can Justin Ashley keep his hot streak going? Can teams like Josh Hart close the gap, get those first wins? Pro stock class, can Greg Anderson get back in the winner's circle? You're looking at funny cars, anybody's games. This is the kind of event that a guy like John Force rises up and wins. Could J.R. Todd get hot at the right time? There's just so many exciting storylines that the U.S. Nationals, we're going to have decent weather. Who knows what could happen, but it truly is becoming a must-see event. And I haven't even gotten to the specialty races with Mission, with Extra Money, or the Funny Car All-Star Classic or All-Star Call-Out. It's just going to be a crazy 4 days of, 5 days of racing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you don't even know which way to go. Look, people are still signing up. Scott Purley says it's very easy to sign up. William says online brackets open Sunday. And that's the thing. Once you're signed in, there's really nothing to do right now.
There's not right now. You can just sign up. But what it does is that just kind of gets you teed up so that Sunday night, if you opt into the newsletter, you're going to get an email that just says, hey, brackets are open. Just as a subtle reminder, so it's right now you're just kind of signing up, and that just lets us know. But it also gives you a chance when you sign up, you get a confirmation email that lets you invite your friends. So that was another function. So you're signed up. Do you want to invite your friends? So that's a great way to just get more people kind of signing up. And then, hopefully they maybe follow us on social media. We've got some cool graphics lined up. I've made some how-to videos that are going to be rolling out. So it's going to be, there's going to be ongoing communication via social media for, leading up to Sunday night.
That's it. That's all we can do. Everybody will be in. It's going to be okay. You want to get a blast from the past? Get this. Steven says, I believe this gentleman helped me to make sure I received a television I won from John Force Racing at the Texas Motorplex in 2007. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think, he, we had a contest with it was with Brand Source. So he won a Sanyo TV. So
that's awesome. Our WFL audience, man, they're the most diehard. Like
they are. And let me tell you, we did that Sanyo promotion and they had Ashley Force's picture on the box. And we had fans that would go and buy the TV and then bring the 45-inch, 50-inch box to the races for Ashley to sign or John to sign. And I felt so sorry for him that I was like, hey, don't carry this thing around all day. Just leave it here with your name on it and just go do the race and then come by at the end of the day and we'll let you carry it out. Because you just see people rolling tires and all that stuff. These guys were bringing huge TV boxes to the races.
Great stuff. So, well, he says thanks again.
Yeah. Well, anytime, Steven.
So what's that? 16 years ago,
Yeah.
You made a mark, Elon. You've made a mark. All right, great job. Thank you very much. I'm super excited about it, as you know. Anything that I think can grow the sport that we're not already doing, and this is one of those things. We're not already doing this. We don't have any way for the casual person to just connect real easy by picking some things. I like this one. I like that one. I like this, that one. And they're going to go on and win anyway. The experts always get beat at those kind of things. Yeah. And you're doing it and you're investing your own money. So we're going to try to make it big.
Can I tell you one other fun thing about this that we're realizing?
Yes.
Once the brackets lock on Sunday, I can run a report and then I can tell, hey, this percentage of people think John Force is going to win the race. This percentage of the people think upsets. So when we were tested it in Brainerd, the Matt Hagan versus Dave Richards race.
Yes.
Not one single person picked Dave Richards to win that race. Same deal with J.R. Todd versus Dale Creasy. So that's happening going on. And Jason Logan is playing in the game. Dave Richards wins. He immediately sends me a text, bracket buster. And that's exactly what you want. So I can share that information to
people care that Dave Richards beat Hagan. It's like it was a thing. It affected
exactly. Lives. And, so the fact that you get that 1 versus 16 upset and, so I'll have that data to share to give to guys like you or Alan Reinhardt or Brian Loans and Tony, so that when guys are coming up and in the first round in particular, they can say, oh, you know what? 60% of the people think Ron Capps is going to upset Matt Hagan in this race.
Right.
So it just gives you more talking points, which again,
the drag race bracket bonanza picks are 90%. Ron Capps.
Right. So I'm excited about it.
He's all signed up. He's also looking forward
to this. Coming from Alberta.
He's coming.
All right, Scott, you got to hit me up. Definitely want to take care of our friends from Canada. So if you're coming all the way from Canada, the Stampede of Speed, I want to make sure we take care of you.
Yes. This was like a multi-purpose promotional visit by Elon Werner.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing a lot of hats. You know that, Joe.
I know.
A lot of hats.
Put you to work on everything. Is there anything that we didn't talk about? Do you want to?
I think so.
Give people social media.
My Steelers are looking good in preseason. Let's just go ahead and touch that base real quick. My Steelers look.
It's preseason. Does anything really even matter in the preseason anymore?
No, but I was locked into that Raiders-Redskins game, or I guess Commanders game. On what I couldn't believe how invested I was in two teams I really didn't care about. But I was like, is the streak going to get broken? Is it not going to get broken?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. The Ravens had a 24-game preseason winning streak snapped by the Washington Commanders.
I'm down here in Dolphin Land, man. It's just is Tua okay? Is he still okay?
Yeah.
Okay. How about now? Is Tua okay? Is he going to be okay? That's our whole season. Yeah. And then there's the Jets. Yeah. We won't talk about that. Well, Chad signed up. Chad is signed up. So
I appreciate it.
They're all signed up. All right.
I love it. Joe, I can't thank you enough for the time. And, we'll keep plugging away and keep promoting it. And, we could set up love to set up a WFO group maybe next year. And you have, just look at how we can do it. So
the winner gets a ticket to the Stampede of Speed, something like that.
But I would, if possible, we have the people's usernames. So when they win, I'll reach out to them. So when we have our overall champion, I would like to be able to have our overall champion possibly be a guest on WFO radio.
Oh, that's no doubt. We can do that.
Well, make sure when he gets his championship belt, he can do the WFO radio wearing the champ belt.
I love it.
Full on.
I love it. See, you got it. You got it. Excellent. And you get it. So, all right. I will see you in a couple of days.
All right, Joe. I can't thank you enough, man.
Later, Elon. Be good. Bye. There he goes. Elon Werner. Drag race bracket bonanza. I'm going to drop the link one more time. And I think it's fun. I like the idea. I think it's fun. And I got hundreds of friends who participate in these kind of things for college basketball that don't care about college basketball. And then they grow to like it. Oh, that I connected with that person because I won when nobody thought I would. Right? Drag racing needs more of these things. And Elon's a friend. And I like to help my friends. So let's all sign up and try it. And like the one guy said, the little wheel was turning round and round. What I did was I went to my desktop and was able to get in and sign up, and I'm ready. I'm ready to pick winners, and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, I want your comments on the U.S. Nationals. Feel free to pick a winner, to give me a story that I hadn't expected, to make a bold prediction. I'm excited about that, and we're going to burn through very rapidly. I do want to tell you, though, we got some cool things up on our channels. The Antron Angel interview. If you have yet to see that, you really should, because it was illuminating. to what Angel is going to be trying to do when she runs a top fuel dragster for AB Motorsports. It's going to be very exciting. Also, the Flying H Motorsports Park first look with Kurt Johnson, that drive around the new track in Kansas City area, Odessa, Missouri. If you haven't already seen that, I don't want to say it's outdated, but it is definitely advanced. There is asphalt down. They have paved the track. This thing is advancing, but you can still get a lot of information out of the video. Just subscribe, click the bell, and we are seeing some good, strong growth with our channels. It's amazing. You put out a couple of big videos, people click on them, and then they see more of your videos. And they don't know that we do hour-long shows. Simple as that. I do want to tell you about a couple of people who make it possible for me to go WFO, and then I'll get to your comments and my thoughts. We are very excited to have Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School as a sponsor. And they have been a sponsor for a long time. And the thing that I push to my audience, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go get your Super Comp license? You're going to get your Super Gas license? And maybe you will. But to me, I think it's all about the dragster adventure. You drive a dragster. You go on the dragster adventure because it's the easiest way for you to get out there and drive a car and experience it. Well, this past week, Doug Coletta's son, Mitchell, Scott Coletta's son, Colin, and our own great friend, Luke Fath, went out and got their Super Comp licenses and went through the course, which is super cool. The story is up on NHRA.com if you want to find out more. But really, the dragster adventure is the easiest, least expensive, most affordable way. You strap it in, got it putting on a helmet. It's a rear engine dragster. You're launching the car. It's really exciting and simple way for a race fan to go get a taste. And then maybe you want to get your Super Comp license. That's up to you. Go to frankhawley.com to find out more information and go check out that story on NHRA.com. I tweeted it out a little bit earlier today. Good stuff. Rodax Coffee, located in Fort Worth, Texas. This is the easiest way to support WFO by calling Marvin, 817-924-6821. Order a bag of coffee, the WFO radio blend in particular. And that will start your journey on the road to good coffee. Because Marvin's stuff is all fantastic. It's roasted fresh per your order. And when it arrives, you know, because the aroma fills your home and it's amazing. Hot sauces and spice rubs and barbecue grills. If you're a Patreon and you're going to the Stampede of Speed, make plans to bring some coffee home with Marvin. He'll roast it for you and you can skip the shipping. Just load it up in your bag. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Very excited about that. Folks at Samtech. This is a little more serious sponsor. It's kind of a lifetime decision. If you are thinking about becoming a machinist, an engine builder, a CNC programmer, an EFI tuner, Samtech.edu has classes, and the Massengill family do a great job of training the next generation. And you might want to go to work at SpaceX. That's your dream. Well, being a qualified machinist is very important to getting in, getting an opportunity. And they also can help place you in these careers. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. So check them out, samtech.edu. And then there's Matt Clark of Torque Calibration Services of Australia. If you're down under and you're logged in to check out the U.S. Nationals and you're thinking, I'm involved in racing and motorsports, and you don't already use Torque Calibration Services of Australia, reach out to Matt Clark. He is a diehard drag racing fan. He's a diehard WFO supporter. He is a Patreon, and he insists he wants to be a part of the U.S. Nationals coverage, whether it be the V8 supercars down under, the top fuel teams. Many are his clients, and it all comes down to you have a torque wrench for a reason because that spec is vital. But if you've dropped your wrench or you don't calibrate it every once in a while to make sure it's accurate, what are you actually doing? What is the point of it? Your equipment must be calibrated perfectly. So go to Torque Calibration Services of Australia and get in on it. Plus our great friends at Bernie's Speed Shop and Foggett, of course, Gary Stinnett, Bernie's Speed Shop, Total Seal Piston Rings, Phillips Connect, and FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. You know, our Project Pontiac build project is advancing. This morning, I took my broken down trailer to a trailer repair place. Yeah, if you didn't see that story where the back of my trailer broke and collapsed with the car on it, it was not fun. But Project Pontiac is advancing. So now we got to fix our trailer. No big deal. Was down there in the Miami getting ready to go. And Project Pontiac will be on the track at some point soon. The folks at Total Seal and Straub Technologies and Rottler are getting ready to hone the block. So a lot going on in that. All right, I feel like I've stalled appropriately. I didn't get to hit caps with this photo. It's just any chance to show that, right? Let's see what everybody's got to say. Your takes, your hot takes on the big go. Your hot takes on the big go. All right, so everybody is loving Elon's idea, the drag race bracket bonanza. They're loving it. Like such a great show today. Thank you, Monica. Mitchell, great idea. It absolutely is. Here we go. William, I watched zero football unless it was watching to beat who beat Andy Dalton and the Bengals. I learned all about the game and other teams because I wanted to beat my friends. Simple as that. And that drag racing, I know there are a lot of drag racing fans that got a bit of an attitude about it that are like drag racing only. But we need to use other ideas to grow our sport. And this is one that I think can work. Success leaves tracks. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just see what worked for other people and emulate it. Great show. Thank you so much. Slot Bunny. That is exciting. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm okay with it. Hey, Joe, are the Dolphins going to get our JT running back? I don't know. In fact, I'm hearing about it, but the sports radio folks I know are, it's like could be or maybe not. Steve Fast wins Pro Mod at the Big Go. Yeah, Stevie is back. Well, wouldn't that just be one of the greatest comeback stories? Stevie Fast takes time off, goes and does the right thing health-wise, goes out there, takes the time off, and comes back. First race back wins. The Big Go, the biggest race. Yeah, I don't know if the rest of the Fuel Tech Pro Mod field wants that to happen. What does that say? Race 2 of their playoff. Very interesting to see how the Bahrain 1 racing team does. Khaled, just heartbreaking first-round loss. Justin Bond, similar deal. We're going to see, how things shape up. They shape up quickly. But again, it's the U.S. Nationals. So I don't know. One-off super race. Steve Torrance, Matt Hagan, Erica Enders, Matt Smith. Matt Smith to win again. Erica Enders to win again. Matt Hagan and Steve Torrance. Like, that's very possible and reasonable. Definitely not a bold prediction. Gary says, so I called Mattel. For anyone who thinks I might be in copyright infringement, well, I don't know what this has been going on in the chat deal. Look, Caps is right about lawyers. You can't just make your own Hot Wheels and start selling them. So don't do that, Gary. But the whole point is, will that eventually be a Hot Wheel? And the answer is, depends on how much attention it gets this weekend. Hot Wheels and Mattel, believe it or not, they're in the business of making money. And if they think that every drag racing fan has to have the Don the Snake Ron Capps Hot Wheel, they'll make it. Oh, no doubt. And speaking of areas where NHRA could do a little better, you go down the toy aisle and you see all the monster trucks are all in there, right? Would be great to have some more drag race cars, I think. Ooh, Jeff Bonfield. Gary Stinnett doubles up in Super Stock and Super Comp. See that, Gary? They're into it, man. They're into it. To make her fog it. That would be pretty cool. Well, if Gary Stinnett just wants to have a better year this year than he did last year. That's all. Looking forward to seeing Tommy Johnson Jr. running the top alcohol funny car category at the U.S. Nationals. Well, there's 2 injected nitro funny cars, which is pretty exciting. Mixed Steel is going to be out from what I gather. So you could go top to bottom. I wrote down this list of every final round last year because not only do I want to know the race winners, the race winner is a nice story. The runner-up from a year ago, that to me is the interesting story because there's somebody out there that stood on the mountaintop and they looked over and someone passed the chalice of victory right before them and it passed them in the night. And their dreams of greatness and drag racing immortality were dashed on the rocks. And what do they do the following year? To me, that is interesting. Who were the runner-ups last year? Yeah, I saw Ricky Smith. Looks like Stevie Fast and Ricky Smith are running Indy. Yeah, I saw Ricky put out a deal. There'll be at least one nitrous car in the field. Good. Ricky Smith retired from full-time racing every week in the NHRA. Of course, he should come out and run Indy. Did Lyle get a ride? I was under the impression that he was working on it. I don't know. Check out Shake and Bake. Joe, are you ours for the weekend, or are you on NHRA on Fox duty? I don't like their attitude there, Jim. I'm always ours. I'm both, always. In this case, I don't know. I talked to the folks at NHRA on Fox, and in the effort to make certain that they knew and understood that I wanted the opportunity and felt like I could deliver for the U.S. Nationals, I asked. I would like to be involved if it is possible. I understand that everybody that works on the team is coming in already. If you can work me in, I promise you my best work. And that's what's out there. So I don't know. But in the end, it's all one team. And I have already got some plans to deliver some new and interesting things for the fans out there, as we always do. Speaking of which, attention in the pits with the station wagon. Go like it and share it. Oh my gosh. What is it, Todd Curtis? 66 Biscayne stock eliminator station wagon. If you haven't already checked that out, go check it out. Best show ever. Well, this week anyway. I don't know about that, Deep and Hot. There's been some great shows at WFO. Glad to have so many NHRA folks coming by the TV station. Antron yesterday, interviews with Matt and Leah today, John and Brittany coming on Friday. Well, way to go, Nicole. It's great to have someone who loves and appreciates drag racing as the program director of a TV station. That makes a difference, when they don't know. And we all are in our own secret society. And maybe people would love it if they only knew what was going on inside. And so we got to work it. We got to keep working. We got to keep grinding. Scott Bell, Indy winners. Steve Torrance, another Steve Torrance pick. They're all picking Steve. Chad Green wins his first race. It's funny car at the Big Go. Oh my gosh. Daniel Wilkerson's head just exploded. Pro Stock, Kramer. Oh my gosh. Michael Heiner is going to be doing a special Hear It From Heiner U.S. Nationals pre-race edition. We're doing that right after the show concludes, whenever that is. And if you're not a Patreon, you don't get to see it. What does a Pro Stock crew, and I hate to put it that way because I love the WFO universe. It's not about taking away from people. It's about giving benefit to the people who have become members of our Patreon page. That's why they got to join Drag Race Bracket Bonanza first. I'm just desperate to make sure that they know that I appreciate them paying a monthly fee to help WFO. And I'm trying to make it worth it every day. Just like the driver that sits at the ropes and signs autograph for the extra 10 minutes. That's what our Patreon page is. And I apologize for comparing myself to a driver, But I will be at Cruz Pedregon's open house signing autographs. Be there. Best show ever. Well, this week anyway. That came through twice. Let's see, Jim Parks. Damn, work call. Had to take it. Missed the last 30 minutes. Dude, you missed it. Force and Snake. It was amazing, Parks. Too bad you missed it. Scott, as exciting as this season has been, I believe it will be the most attended U.S. Nationals ever. Well, that has to do with the weather. It has to do with the weather, and it has to do with Ma Nature, and hopefully drag racing fans decide with their couple of bucks to go spend it on drag racing. Drag racing ain't cheap, and it shouldn't be. It's an unbelievable sport. You've got chances to engage and interact with drivers and watch stories and things. Hank Stewart, going to be out there running in Super Gas in the Stress Express once again, trying to win the Big Go. So many storylines. You just got to know where to look. ProMod have to go with Justin Bond. Go Canada, eh? Yeah, he needs a bounce back race. Hope I see you at St. Elmo's. Yeah, doubt it. St. Elmo's is usually a PRI kind of thing for me. The U.S. Nationals, we don't get any time for that. Like, it's just go to the track all day, finish at the track, go back to the hotel, repeat. There really isn't time for St. Elmo's. As much as I love St. Elmo's, it's nonstop. Indy is nonstop. Drag Race Central. Going to go out there, totally not fancy, biased, say Tony Schumacher wins his 11th U.S. Nationals title and Tasca gets it done. Bold, not bold, but kind of bold, because Tony Schumacher has not had a great year, but Tony Schumacher winning Indy is not a bold prediction. So I'm going to give you half credit. Any if you're on half credit. Any info on Pastrana? I don't have any info on Pastrana, like something going on that I should know about. Like, has he decided that he's going to try to run Scott Palmer's car? Like, I don't know. But you'd think that he got the taste. Maybe you saw something I haven't seen. Brittany Force in Top Fuel. Brittany is the runner-up in Top Fuel. Brittany runner-up. Robert runner-up. Dallas Glenn runner-up. Dallas 2000 red. Karen Stouffer runner-up. So the burning embers of rage and disappointment. We lost in the Jegs and Indy finals last year. We are ready to redeem ourselves. Jim Park's out there with DJ Cox. Yeah, DJ Cox lost to Sean Bellemere. Mike Coughlin lost to Julie Natas. Chris Thorne went red in the final round to Lyle. Like, those are the people, like, man, they've been thinking about that all year. I wonder if they thought about it every day of the last year. You know, going red 2000 in the final at Indy. Has that been on your mind, Chris Thorne? Now's your chance to get back. And it only comes once a year. The comp final. Man, this one tore me up. Doug Engels over Frank Aragona. Frank Aragona runner-up at the U.S. Nationals last year. Frankie was very sick. And from what I know, and I'm not speaking out of school, I don't think, or maybe I am, that his doctors told him, don't go. And he went and made it to the final and just got beat. And Frank Aragona is no longer with us, and I hope we can do some sort of something to pay tribute to him. I'll certainly try out there, but that puts it in perspective. Like, that was our last chance to hang with Frankie. At least, you know, we saw him in Reading, I'm sure, but, like, guy made the final round. That's what I'm trying to say. Tony Schumacher, Tasca, Camry, Gage. And we're including Pro Mod. If you want to include Pro Mod, Jason Lee. Oh, so Jason Lee just freaking wins the first two races of playoffs going away. Okay. Wow, that would be great. So that's two Tony Schumacher picks kind of out of nowhere. Camry. Wow, that would shake things up. That would shake things up. Monday's going to be 91 and sunny. Good. That sounds like a good day. What people in Indiana need to do is express that it's also a party. The Indy 500 is a party. There are so many people who go to the Indy 500 that don't go to any other race, that don't care about anything. They want to go and hang with their friends and have a party and drink beer and watch something. And the U.S. Nationals can be that too, but it's so much better. No offense to the Indy 500. It's so much better because there's so much more. Different styles of cars, cars you relate to, cars that you remember, classic cars, modern cars, amazing cars that you can't relate to, like Top Fuel dragsters. Like, oh my gosh, what is that? 330 miles an hour and 1,000 feet. How do they do that? Drivers, 900 of them from all over the world. Crazy stuff, wild stuff, motorcycles. There's just more at the U.S. Nationals, including days, Sunday, Monday, Saturday, Friday. What's going to be P1 and Top Fuel and Funny Car? That is a good question. I don't know. You know, somebody hits it in the Friday night session. Had a great party at PRI yesterday with Cruz, Eddie, Krista, and AB. Awesome. I wonder if Krista ever found a chassis. Like, what's up with Krista? We have not gotten a report. Krista Baldwin trying to make the Stampede a speed. Anybody reach out and help her yet? Awesome video on the new upcoming track. Love it. Thanks again. No way. Thank you, Chad. Thanks for watching it and sharing it. And that's how our stuff gets out there. DJ Cox had a great weekend at Funny Car Chaos this past weekend. Yes, I saw. Pit access. Well, exactly. But we are drag racing fans. That is the deal. And so we love this stuff. But to make other people love it, you've got to show them what you love, like Bruce Lee. with Kung Fu. You got to take people in that don't know from it, maybe buy them a ticket. You know, the best ticket to the big go is like the full ticket. You can get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Steve the Trucker used to go for, less than $500. And then you're in for the whole thing. That's pretty great. They've got a beautiful top eliminator club. And just getting out in the pits. The racers do a lot of great things as well. Indy 500 is standby one giant cooler and drink crowds. U.S. Nationals is more of a walk-in beer. Maybe. Whatever you want to do. However you want to do it. Whatever, whenever. But I just want to mention the Lucas Oil categories. It's a life changer for them, too. You win Indy. Hemi Challenge. Steve Camelo won last year. David Barton won Factory Showdown. Rusty Baxter, Vince Hoda won the top sportsman and top dragster. How about Bo getting it done in Super Gas last year? And Austin Williams over Jason Kenny. Jason Kenny went 002 in the final, broke out 9th out. But he hasn't thought about that like at least once a week since? No. These guys live this stuff. This is their lives. They're going to the biggest race, the most important race. Practicing, saving money, packing food. All that stuff. Oh, yeah, Scott mentions, the Reinhart attack on Galvin. That's really going to be what everybody takes away on this show. Like, Reinhart couldn't. Galvin was racing injured. Well, you got to play hurt. Michael Jordan had his best games when he was injured. Nostalgia Drags would be perfect to run Snake and Mongoose. Snake car, really bitching. Yeah. I want it at an NHRA National. I'm sorry, guys. Bader, I love Bader. Bader's great. Bader is the best. But we're going to do a throwback thing. It needs to be at an NHRA National event, just saying. All right, guys, Patreons, hear it from Heiner. The rest of you, we'll see you in Indy. WFO.